What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 681 of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk Hot Tags of the Week. We have been recording a lot of podcasts this past couple days. All of the AEW End of the Year Awards, all the WWE End of the Year Awards, they're all up and ready to go. If you have the early access stuff to that, you can check them out already, and they'll be rolling along here. But you know, if you are waiting like everybody else, then they'll be sporadically posted. But in the meantime, we do have hot tags. And if you don't know who we are, well, I am Tony Mango, and I'm joined as always by Robert E. Felice.
Hello. I don't know if my audio sounds okay. I sure hope it does. But we roll on anyway.
I'm giving you a gain boost, so they might not be able to tell too much of a difference. But yeah, it is what it is.
Can you give my bank account a gain boost?
I wish. I would love to give a boost to a lot of different things, to the economy, to optimism. I'm going to boost morale for a certain somebody out there, a certain Luigi. We're ending 2024 on a high note, everybody. It's December 20th. Give a boost to the Marketplace if you want to help boost us. Redbubble and TeePublic is where you can pick up your merchandise. Patreon is, of course, a great means to help support us. Also, the YouTube channel membership is another great way for you to do that. And that's how you can get the early access stuff I mentioned before, the Darkcast tier, the Pick Your Poison tier, for all those requests that you want to make sure that we do for certain things, especially because we could be changing things up going into 2025. Something, for instance, like the one to watch for 2025 may be a Darkcast this year, because they are just going to kind of force us to cram a lot of things at the beginning of this year. And I don't know if I really want to do the one to watch in February. So maybe we do the Mount Rushmore stuff. We got Wrestle Kingdom. We got Dynasty. We have a lot to cover with all that. So heel and face turn predictions and one to watch and whatever. Maybe that gets lumped into the Darkcast here. Yeah. And across the board, if you want to help us out, though, there are some free ways to do that. Always hit the like button. Always make sure that you are subscribed. Ring that notification bell. Get those email alerts set up. That doesn't really help us out, but it just helps you out. Kind of, positive on that front.
I disagree. It actually helps out the channel very much. Please do it.
The email alerts?
Well, stuff like hitting the bell. It boosts.
I mean, it's engagement. So I guess
if more people hit the bell, there's further algorithm.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't hurt at the very least, unless you maybe click it like 1,000 times, and then maybe they think it's like spamming or something. But you click it one time, you enable it, and then it's good. Also hit up our Discord server. I said like a little bit weird, but who cares? And I don't know. This is the last hot tags of the year, I think. No, next week. That's right. We do have a whole next week thing. Look, I'm mentally checked out. I've been mentally checked out since like 2019.
Listen, I mentally checked out probably last Monday. I was starting to think of how much I could phone in. And I gotta be honest. And here's a good place to start, because we're going to talk about ROH Final Battle predictions.
Ooh.
God damn it, don't hit. Then I'm being serious for a second, because
so am I. I don't want to cover that crap tonight.
So I got family coming this weekend, and it's because I want to do something nice for the family during the holidays. The reason it's today through this Sunday and not any other upcoming week is because, hey, listen, if I have to choose between what do you slate, Ring of Honor Final Battle, AEW World's End, or Dynasty, Kingdom, and Raw on Netflix, I think it's Final Battle.
There's a pretty clear 1, 2, and 3 ranking on there. Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, there's more wrestling in need of coverage than ever before. And in some ways, that's a beautiful thing as wrestling fans. I know a lot of people who are like, yeah, I used to dream about times like this. But in other ways, it's like, shit, after a while, if everything's important, say it with me, Tony.
Nothing's important. I mean, we do have a lot of hot tags that are important stuff, but then we also have things like the ROH Final Battle stuff, which
Jesus Christ!
look, I'll be as everybody knows I'm
You could
more and
walk
more
to the building
transparent.
if you wanted to. Like,
I mean, I technically could. It's Hammerstein, right? So,
yeah.
how far is Hammerstein from me?
I think we did this stuff. It's like, what was it, like 20, 30 minutes?
Let's see. It's this Midtown Manhattan. Choose a starting point. Why is it that when I go on fucking Google Maps and I click on like the starting point, home does not default to home most of the time? Come on, you have one fucking thing to do.
They want to pretend like they're not watching.
Ugh. All right, so it's a 35-minute walk.
Yeah, see, you're not far from the building.
I don't want to walk later on today to Target, and it's underneath me. Last night, I had to take out the trash to the trash chute in the apartment, and it's 8 paces away, and I had to make a second trip, and I was like, that energy level is at a dangerous low. Yeah, I mean, would I want to go to Final Battle if it was free? Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of fun. But it's not.
That's fair.
Would I want to watch this if it was free? Not really.
No.
But I would go, and like that would be fun. But like, put it this way, the difference between what Ring of Honor was covered on SmackDown Moment last year, where we had the dedicated predictions and a dedicated post show, and compared to now, where I'm not even creating a graphic for us to throw it onto the hot tags. We're just using the hot tags graphic because I'm like, I don't need to redo the Final Battle graphic. I got a new logo. I put it up on SmackDown Moment. That's good enough. Let's talk about that first because we're already getting into it. There are 13 matches again on this card, which I'm assuming starts at 6:30.
4 of them are on the 0 hour. Those 4 and another 2 were just announced last night during the ROH on Honor Club. You want to start with the 0 hour here, Tony? Who do you think is going to win between Harley Cameron and Hanako?
Someone. I'm assuming Hanaka. Is that her name? Wait, let me double check my list again. Hanako.
Maybe it's Hanako. I apologize if it's Hanako and I'm saying Hanako, but yeah, I would imagine she.
Hanako, maybe. It's stylized in all caps. Is that a regular thing in like Joshi stuff? Is it like because like Asuka and Kana and all that, they were like pretty much all caps for a little bit, right?
I don't know, because sometimes you do it and people are like, yeah, that's the right way to do it. And then other times, like Gunther was stylized all caps, and people just stopped doing it.
Yeah. Kushida, I think, is all caps.
Kushida is all caps. Some people don't. I like to do it that way. When Kairi Sane went back to Japan after her first run, she became just all caps Kairi.
How does Ring of Honor's YouTube channel not have the pre-show link up yet?
It's funnier if AEW's YouTube channel does.
I don't know. Let's check to see. YouTube.com/AEW.
They sure
do. Oh my god. The way that things work this year, or multiple years from now. Well, okay, so that does pop up on there. 6:45?
6:55.
6:55?
Yeah, so it's actually a 0 hour, unlike the AEW ones, which are 0:90 minutes.
Unless that means that they're going to have like an hour and a half worth of this, and this isn't going to get started until like 8:30, some random ass thing.
No,
I don't think that's going to be the case, but
they're probably going to run right through these matches, just like we should right now. So Hanako wins.
Hanako, she probably beats Harley Cameron because guess how many matches Harley Cameron has won this year?
I'm going to say a solid 0.
2.
Oh, that's more than I gave her credit for. Good for her.
She, let me bring up my, I don't think it's
Wait, were those matches in AEW?
Yes. I'm going to bring up my What Culture post that I put up. I don't think it's published yet for the biggest winners and losers of AEW. Actually, it is published already, so everybody go check out that article. So
yeah, go What Culture.
Yeah, they were on that very quickly. I posted that like early this morning.
That's a good thing. Good things are good.
Good things are good. That's why we love that everybody's listening to this. So here was my breakdown that I had done for that on slide number 7 or so, number 8. When I crunched the numbers a little bit, Harley Cameron is at a 95% loss. I know she won 1 out of 20 matches, not 2. Kip Sabian, I think, had won 2. Saraya won 3 and had 8 losses.
That's impressive.
Want to guess who has the most amount of losses? And there's, what was it? 201 people have lost 100% of their matches in AEW in 2024. And that's, of course, like a lot of like one-time guest people and stuff. But there's somebody who has had 19 matches and they've lost all of them.
I have to imagine it's Serpentico.
No, actually, he is at, I think, like 7 or so. He's not even the top 3.
Wow. Jay Lethal.
Nope.
I don't know.
So among the top were Iron Savages, Aaron Solo, AR Fox, John Cruz, but the top 3 were 11 for Robin Renegade, 14 for Matt Sydal, and 19 is The Butcher.
Man, specifically those last 2, because there might still be something for the Renegade Twins down the line. But specifically for Sydal and Butcher, I remember when they came in and it was like, oh, they might win some matches and be like credible challengers along the way. Not people who might win titles, but credible challengers.
They're in that the list of spooky dark characters that have failed in AEW. The Nightmare Collective, Dark Order for a lot of ways.
Is that an article you're working on? That sounds like an article. List of spooky dark characters who have failed at AEW.
I think I've already written it, if I remember correctly, or some kind of variation of it. But it also sounds like a lot of work. And that goes to show you how much we care about Ring of Honor, because we started talking about that instead. But Dark Order is on the card. They're going up against Grizzled Young Veterans in the pre-show. So Gibson and Drake, I'm assuming, win that, because Dark Order don't win anything.
Why is that? Because they fall into that category of spooky dark gimmicks that haven't necessarily worked out in AEW.
Very much so. Then there's Gates of Agony against Liege.
No. Look at the 2 names of the people who are in the match.
Lee Johnson and EJ Duca.
So what's the team name?
Liege.
There you go.
Shouldn't they have another E? Shouldn't it be LEEEJ?
Don't fucking question.
If they're going to do that, they should at least keep the amount of E's.
No, because then somebody's going to think it's Liege.
Because it's Lee Johnson and EJ. Shouldn't they have 2 J's too?
I don't know on that, Ben.
In fact, they should call themselves Legion. Fucking hire me. Gates of Agony, I think, could win that. I think Legion could win, but I don't know anything about how they've been positioned, so that's a flip a coin scenario for me.
This 2-minute discussion has been a legion on my brain. No, I think it's Legion. I think they're winning because they've been teased pretty heavily as like people who could do things in the future. And Gates of Agony fell off once they left Mogul Embassy. I almost said Mobile Embassy. That's not right. Mogul Embassy. So I'm going to go with Lee J. And never be able to write them again without thinking of Lee.
Now you're just going to type like 15 E's and 3 J's or so. And the other pre-show match is the Infantry, Carly Bravo and Captain Sean Dean against the Undisputed Kingdom's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Flip a coin again? I have no fucking clue.
Well, I would say you could flip a coin. So here's why you can flip a coin. I'll try to give you a little bit of a analysis here. The Infantry turned heel. They're a part of Shane Taylor Promotions. Undisputed Kingdom, on the other hand, will be a part of the AEW pay-per-view next Sunday. So do you want to put them over, or do you want to go with the infantry? If it's me,
they are on the pay-per-view just going to be backing up Adam Cole, and I could see them turning on him.
Well, that's a spoiler for our discussion next week. That's the way I see it going.
So I would probably give them the win so that they have a little bit more credibility for when they do that.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's the proper way to go. I'd rather the infantry win because I'd like to see some Ring of Honor people get pushed. If I'm going to be watching the show, I'd like to see it mean something.
That's asking a lot. You're going to get match and match and match and match and match. That's what you're going to get.
And let's get into the first match on the main card. Katsuyori Shibata against the Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington. This will be fun. I imagine this will be a nice little sprint of a hard-hitting, strong-style match, and Shibata will win.
Have they yet called him the AEW Dynamite Kid?
No. I think only you're looking for that.
They should hire me. They could get a million great things like that and Liege. I'll go Shibata.
It'll probably be Shibata. They should just... I know they don't give a lot of people the graphic anymore. They should give Billington the graphic. He's fun. I like watching him.
Little side note, when Shibata was on Dynamite this week, my wife was like, did they just call that guy Ciabatta? Like the bread?
Ciabatta, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I love ciabatta bread. It's great.
I will let you guess how many times I've had to erase the word ciabatta and put in ciabatta.
On the voice to text stuff. Be like ciabatta instead, maybe. And then they'll do it. Did it get Katsuyori correct? Or?
Yeah, actually it does. It does get Katsuyori correct.
Huh. Jay Lethal is up against QT Marshall. I just mixed them together. Jay Lethal should beat QT Marshall. Jay Lethal is like this multi-time champion at ROH. I was going to call him JT Marshall. Why do I want to call him JT Marshall right now? And QT Marshall lost to Big Boom. So Lethal wins.
They're trying with this. Like, QT Marshall is like calling him out on being obsessed with Randy Savage, which makes me think that they just might do Black Machismo again, which I kind of feel is a little old hat in 2024, but whatever. He did an NWO style promo calling himself Marshall Madness, which I funny. QT Marshall gets it, and he does fun things. I'll always give him credit for that. But yeah, Jay Lethal's got to win here.
There is another random just singles match, I believe, on the card. Where is it? I just lost it.
Atlantis Jr. versus Mansoor.
That's it. Mansoor versus Atlantis Jr. Again, I have absolutely no context of what is going on with any of these feuds or anything, because I have not watched an episode of Ring of Honor in, I believe, the entirety of 2024.
I'd be surprised to learn that you watched an episode of Ring of Honor after the first one.
I watched a few. I tried. I always try. That's the thing. I try too much. I try more than I should in almost every aspect of my life.
Well, no, here's the thing. I think
Bing.
Atlantis Jr. should probably win just because he's a babyface, and I'm going with babyface can beat heel.
He also had, both of these actually had among the worst win-loss ratios of this year, too. Which you would think that Atlantis Jr. would have a higher one because he was a champion.
Yeah, but he was a champion in the sense that, like, the Ring of Honor champions barely wrestle. So that's how he got away with that.
Also, there's only 3 that are immune to criticism if you are Shane Taylor.
Well, let's talk about one of those champions, because Lee Moriarty, part of Shane Taylor Promotions, is doing an open challenge for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Who do you think it's going to be? Do you think Moriarty retains? And what do you think happens here?
For some reason, even though there's not really been anything that points in that direction as far as anything that I've seen, and I am, of course, totally untapped into this whole thing, so for all I know that they've been setting something up, my gut instinct was like, what if it's Riddle?
Ew.
But
I hope not.
I have no clue who they are going to go with, but I do think that whoever it is, if they're going to go with the idea of a surprise thing, they could probably take the title.
I'm gonna go Bandito, and I'm gonna go takes the title.
Most wanted man.
Even though they have been advertising him for AEW shows, so maybe not. If not Bandito, then I'll say who's a pure wrestler. Maybe Josh Woods. What's he doing? Maybe he should get the belt. We'll see.
Without knowing who's fighting for that, it's hard to tell. Even if we knew who it was, I wouldn't be able to really be able to tell too much.
Well, you would be if it was like.
I mean, if it was somebody like just Samoa Joe, I'd be like, all right, probably.
Yeah, and he's going up against Samoa Joe or Nigel McGuinness, like.
Yeah, but if it was like Lee Moriarty against Griff Garrison, I would have no context.
Who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara up against the Righteous for the ROH World Tag Team titles in a Texas bull rope match. I could see the titles changing hands, but it's a Texas bull rope match, so I could see the champs retaining. I kind of, not that I have any kind of stake in this whatsoever, because it ultimately doesn't matter if I'm not watching it, but I don't like the idea of Dustin Rhodes holding both those sets of titles, so I'd rather them just get rid of them and, do something else.
I think the Righteous is overdue for titles, so I'd like to see them win, but I'm going to guess Dustin and Guevara win here.
We got a survival of the fittest match for the ROH World Television title. Brian Cage, Willie Mack, Mark Davis, AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Commander. Considering how I just said AR Fox lost more matches than almost anybody on he has 100% failure rate on AEW. I'm assuming he doesn't win. Blake Christian, I'm assuming he doesn't win. Commander is there to flip around. I'm going to go Brian Cage retains.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet. Unless they're like, no, we like you too much in the AEW tag division. You can lose the belt to Mark Davis, who we currently have nothing for.
True. Chris Jericho for the ROH World title against Matt Cardona. This, I think, entirely depends on, did Matt Cardona sign or not? If he did, he wins the belt. If he didn't, he comes up short, and it's just a means to get some heat on Jericho and to give a big name for him to fight.
I'm going to go on record here and say I think at some point before the end of this show, Ricky Starks appears.
Really?
Yeah.
Have they been setting anything up with that?
Well, here's how this match was set up, Tony. Matt Cardona was scheduled to fight Ricky Starks in GCW. Effie said some things about Tony and Shad Khan that you guys covered on this podcast. Ricky Starks was pulled. Chris Jericho sets up an open challenge. Matt Cardona answers. Chris Jericho goes to GCW to hit Matt Cardona and Effie. I would just feel really bad for Ricky Starks if everyone else in the picture somehow ended up on AEW programming except for him. So I'm going to guess he shows up at some point tonight.
I hope that doesn't happen because I want Ricky Starks to just go to NXT.
It's not happening though. He's under contract to these people for a few more months.
Yeah, but I still just want it to just happen. So anything that points less in that direction, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, it's just like I don't want to see this guy sit on the sidelines. Like, he's healthy, he's good. Do something. I thought Cardona could win, and then I found out that the main event of the show would be Athena Billy Starks, and now I feel less.
Yep.
Yeah,
because Billy Starks is going to beat Athena. That'll be the big celebration at the end of it, which gives them the opportunity to have Matt Cardona not win.
But they could have something special with somebody showing up. I'm hoping it's in that direction, but we'll see. I'm going to say Jericho wins, though.
You're going Billy Starks as well, right?
Yeah, and you skipped over Red Velvet versus Layla Hirsch.
Oh, sure. That's exactly what I'm going to skip over part of this anyway.
It's the women's TV title. It's Red Velvet. It's Layla Hirsch. I hope Layla Hirsch wins. But Red Velvet could retain, but I'm going to go Layla Hirsch.
I would be way more interested if somebody just presented me with an actual red velvet cake.
All right.
That's Ring of Honor. That's why we don't have a dedicated predictions podcast, because it's 10 minutes worth of I really don't want to watch this. Sounds kind of ridiculous, but let's talk about something that I'm way more interested in: the actual Raw logo.
Oh my god, this is like, that might be peak Tony.
Be like, yeah, about that whole 7-hour event where the people are gonna flippy dippy this kind of thing or whatever. But let's talk about that logo, man.
I'm gonna say I don't like the logo. I was about to, but I'm not going to. I like the logo just fine. I feel like the ad for the logo is ridiculous. Not because an ad for a logo change is ridiculous. That happens all the time in life. I think it's ridiculous that Triple H is like,
a logo.
It's rebellious. It's groundbreaking. It's the same fucking font you've been using for 10 years.
He's like, if you want to change the game, you have to completely change how you look at everything. Your appearance means everything. This is going to be a new era because we've slanted it and we got rid of the arrow at the bottom and made it 2 points. And then I look at something like that and I go, oh, thank God it's not that other logo. Hell yeah. Because that one Netflix logo that they had, that was terrible. We already talked about that. This is not my favorite logo of all time, but this is a little bit closer to what I like for Raw, where it has that little bit of that razor blade kind of look to it. And it's sleek enough that, cool. The colors are fine. I like that you pointed this out. I didn't realize this, but every logo is silver now.
Yeah, I'm calling it the Silver Age of WWE. Until these logos change, I'm calling it the Silver Age of WWE.
And that totally could work with that, because we do have, like, the Raw logo is silver with red accents. The SmackDown logo is silver with the blue, and then NXT is pure black and silver. So I
hope that we don't get the Cody Rhodes of Xanar from the Silver Age
of Xanar. Yeah. I like the logo though. I think that looks sleek, and I'm down for that. Some other stuff on the Netflix thing. Logan Paul has now, quote, unretired, and they've confirmed that he is going to be moving to the Raw roster, which at this point is the only move that they have officially confirmed. Because everybody else, I double checked when they were like, hey, look at that. It's a great move for Braun Strowman to be moved over to the SmackDown roster for Carmelo Hayes. He's still listed as a Raw superstar on the page.
Oh, but so hold on. Stop it. Because for a fact they don't update that right away.
Still.
Yeah, but you're the person who pointed it out to me that he's still listed as the WWE and Universal Champions.
He is.
It's one belt.
But I don't think that they updated Logan Paul either. I don't know for sure. Let me see. If they updated Logan Paul, then they didn't update anybody else, and that's even more of a... Nope, he's updated. He's listed as a Raw star.
That's because they care about Logan Paul. They don't give a shit about Braun Strowman.
Or anybody else that they've been moving around. Yeah, Braun Strowman's still listed as Raw, and so is Chad Gable, and yeah. So it makes sense, though. I mean, like... we don't know how anybody is going to be like moved around with all these transfers and stuff, but Netflix is going to be the A show. It's Monday Night Raw. It's pretty much always going to be the A show, even if they end up not having the best deal in the world. But now, especially, that's true. And Logan Paul.
You can't say that because it was not the A show for the last 5 years.
I think that they still kind of treated it like that in some ways, but in other ways, they had Roman over on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
And we don't know if Roman's going to be moving over or if he's just going to make guest appearances or how they're going to play that out. But at least when it comes to Logan Paul, we do know he's moving over to the Raw roster. And sure, let's see how the rest of the roster plays out. I liked another part of this Netflix thing. I didn't watch much of it, to be honest, because I figured if anything important happened, everybody would kind of do the work for me. And then I saw that there weren't as many reports on it as I thought there would be. But I did see one part that I thought was pretty funny, which was the moment where they ask Tama Tonga what he thinks. He shushes everybody and does this, yeah. And then they do the, all right, Chico Fatu, do you want to talk? And the crowd just starts going, I love you, Solo. Of course, he follows it up with the same. But
I liked, there was a moment where Liv and Rhea are having a stare down, and you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah, I did see that.
And this little girl goes, I love you, Rhea. And she goes, I love you too, small child.
What did Liv say back? She said something.
Then she says, you're annoying.
Yeah.
I think you're annoying. Or I would say you're ugly, but she wouldn't say that to a child. So it's probably you're annoying.
You're adopted or something. I don't know. Yeah, that was a good little moment too. They made a big deal about this Netflix thing. They're treating it as the new like worldwide launch of WWE and all. I think it's just some kind of corporate speak bullshit of like, see, now we're in more homes than ever, and we're gonna. But keep it does count.
It does actually mean. Here's what it means. For at least Raw, this is the first time where there's a uniform start time. If you're in Africa, if you're in, Timbuktu, if you're in Canada, US, it all just starts whenever the show starts live on Netflix.
We'll have to confirm with the people in Timbuktu, but I mean, it's obviously it's a good thing across the board. But I just hate when companies are just kind of like, that's it, that's the thing we're gonna be harping on. You're gonna hear it ad nauseum. Welcome everybody to the worldwide WWE launch of what, and they're gonna hear that kind of shit on repeat, and
I will say this again because I pointed it out on the last tapings for the awards, but my favorite part was Triple H goes, Michael Cole, unfortunately, keeps calling it the Triple H era. It's not. It's your era. Like, he keeps trying to take the heat off of himself and then puts himself on TV and then people complain. It's a vicious cycle with him.
Maybe the Raw Netflix launch is going to be equal to or greater than WrestleMania.
Oh, fuck. That was the worst era. And
stupendous.
Looking back on it, I can officially say that's when you probably go, yeah, Vince was losing his marbles. That was the most annoying shit. It's equal to or greater than WrestleMania.
He's just sitting there repeating the word stupendous and bitching and complaining that he doesn't know what a wrap is. The fuck is a burrito?
It's so ridiculous. I can't believe
absolutely insane.
Real.
Well, we were told that he's real. I don't know. I never met the guy. Maybe he's a hologram.
No, that's
maybe he's hologram in AEW. That's where he's been this whole time.
Maybe that's why he disappeared.
He'd look better if he had that mask instead of that stupid mustache, at least.
That's true.
Let's talk about the 2024 year-end awards for NXT. Obviously, we already did the AEW year-end awards from Smark Moment, which are significantly better. You should check them out. But if you're interested in the WWE homogenized version of this, they have a few different categories that are pretty much what they do every year. They, I think, had one extra one this year of the best PLE/show of the year, which they didn't last year. But they got rid of last year or the year before the like breakout star and the overall superstar and whatever. So they're at a point now where you can vote on these categories. So obviously these are not the same things that we have on the AEW year-end awards and Smark Moment, which of course are better, as I just said. But they have male superstar of the year. The nominees are Trick Williams, Obafemi, Ethan Page, and Tony D'Angelo. Okay, kind of makes sense. Obviously, there's plenty of other people you can say, this person should be nominated too, and how many do you need to have? It only has 4 people, etc., etc. But I'm assuming that Trick Williams is going to win this, but I am actually going to cast my vote right now for Obafemi.
Ooh. Yeah, it's probably Trick Williams, but it should be Obafemi.
Ooh. Female Superstar of the Year is between Roxanne Perez, Lola Vice, Jada Parker, and Kalani Jordan. Nobody doesn't like Lonnie, but I'm assuming Roxanne's going to win that.
Nobody doesn't like Lonnie. I think Jada Parker is most likely to headline a pay-per-view. But I'm going to say Roxanne Perez. Because for all the reasons I named her my best champion in the awards, go check them out.
Tag Team of the Year is between Chase U, Hank Walker, and Tank Ledger, Metaphors, Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson, and Fraxium, which Fraxium's going to win that.
For all the reasons I named them my favorite tag team in the awards, go check that out. It's Fraxium.
How are Hank and Tank on this list? They didn't do anything this year.
They won the Reality of Wrestling Tag Team Championships. Shut up.
Did they?
They just won them a week ago.
Oh, hey, good for them. The PLE of the year, I don't fucking remember any of these.
It's stand and deliver.
Okay. Sure. The NXT 2300 and all that stuff is all listed there. I'm not going to read that off. Everybody's interested. You can do that. Match of the year is between...
You're so fucking checked out. It's amazing.
If I had one of those little clock in, clock out things, I would have done that a long time ago. But I don't get paid by the hour, so that's why we speed through some things. The NXT Year and Awards Match of the Year options are Dragunov versus Trick Williams from Vengeance Day, Obafemi versus Dijak versus Josh Briggs from Stand and Deliver. Kind of remember that being a pretty good match. Fraxium versus Chase U from Heatwave. The Great American Bash Week 1 Thea Hale and Roxanne Perez match. Why does it say Heatwave as well? That's weird. They have a typo on there. It says Heatwave Roxanne Perez. Is that like a new nickname for her now?
Well,
Heatwave Roxanne Perez versus Thea Hale Women's Title Great American Bash Week 1 7:30.
Every time I see a big company make a mistake, I go, okay, I feel better about myself now.
Yep. The amount of times that I'll see, I don't know, it'll be like, it's supposed to start off with the, and it'll be he, and I'll be like, you did it. You know? There's the Deadline Iron Survivor Challenge match for the women's division, and there's another Heatwave Kalani Jordan versus Sol
No
Rucka.
way.
No, they just have Kalani Jordan versus Sol Rucka Women's North American title match.
Heatwave. Good match. I remember that match from Heatwave. That was a good match. I believe I cast my vote for the Dijak Obafemi Josh Briggs triple threat, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this go to either Ilya and Trick or the Iron Survivor.
I think it's going to end up going to the Women's Iron Survivor because of some recency bias and the Stan culture being like, hell yeah, let's give it to like Zarya and Julia and Stephanie Vaquer and all.
And even if we just assume the words are fake for a moment, you can go, look at how stacked our women's division is.
Oh yeah, for sure. They also have the Moment of the Year, which is down to Tyrese Halliburton cuts down Orlando crowd September 17th. I don't even remember that, so that's not getting my vote. Jada Parker smashes a brick on Lola Vice. She beat the bricks off of her. Carmelo Hayes turns on Trick Williams. Trick Williams wins his first NXT title. Joe Hendry in NXT. Ethan Page falls into winning the NXT title at Heatwave. Good old Heatwave, Ethan Page. Wesley turns on Zach Wentz and Trey Miguel. That was a really good moment. Julia debuts. NXT launches on the CW in Chicago. 10 women tag team match. Main events ECW. Main events ECW. Okay, that's how they listed it. And Chase U calendar sales saved Chase U from going bankrupt. Really? They put that on there.
Hey, those calendars sold out in a minute. I wonder why.
Now that should be the Heatwave calendar. They should do the bikini edition and do all that.
I agree.
I don't know what'll end up winning this. I think if I were to pick, one of the best moments was definitely the Wesley turn. Joe Hendry could maybe get my pick. I don't know.
I'm going to say Joe Hendry gets the award in both NXT and WWE and TNA. Because he got the award for Moment of the Year for going viral in 2024. So maybe he gets Moment of the Year across two companies, and you use that to get him into the Royal Rumble.
maybe as the TNA champion if he beats Nick Nemeth at Genesis.
Maybe. I doubt it. But
Speaking
it really
of
just
TNA,
has main event CCW.
a lot of people are seemingly leaving TNA, and one of them we don't have confirmation of yet for AJ Francis, but Aiden Prince is gone. Steph DeLander, it seems, is gone. Trent Seven, Kushida, Jade Chung, and possibly more. We talked about before that some of these people were expected to be leaving. Like, we know Jordan Grace is gone. Like, it's just a matter of time. I'm assuming that Jonathan Gresham might end up leaving too. Josh Alexander seems like he's a guarantee.
February 15th. He's already told people when he's a free agent.
So, I mean, I didn't expect this many people.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
Like, I just assumed that Trent Seven would stick around. I didn't really know anything about, like, Jade Chung, but, you know.
She was the announcer, and she's Josh Alexander's wife.
I mean, as far as, like, her contract stuff, like, I didn't follow anything with that, but that's a surprising amount of people that are just leaving TNA. And I guess that's because it's on, like, you know, multiple year-end deals, and everybody kind of, beginning of the year, it's going to be the end of that. But I wonder how they're going to fill the ranks.
Tessa Blanchard.
Just Tessa for every match.
No, I think it's like it sucks, but we've all talked about the decline in TNA. Right after the rise of TNA, it immediately fell again. Yeah. It's really unfortunate how much excitement was around TNA in the beginning of 2024 and how much it just fell off completely.
TNA will TNA.
I think the best part about them renaming themselves TNA is that they immediately continue to TNA.
They're like, well, we know we're going to screw this up, so we might as well beat TNA. Yeah. That was the other topic that I had that was separate on here. WWE is apparently thinking about bringing in a new championship.
Yeah, I saw this. I think it's stupid.
A tribal chief championship, which I already voiced my opinion on my EWN question of the day about how I think that this is stupid for multiple different reasons. Number one being, you have the Ulafala. You have built up all of the meaning of what this tribal chief championship would be in the Ulafala. Just do the Ulafala with a falafel or whatever the LA Knight was calling it. Which immediately, just every time I see anything about falafel, I immediately think of the line from Batman Begins. What, they don't like falafel? So maybe my response to this should be, what, they don't like falafel? Also, you can't get it done quick enough to have the belt created and then have it like on the line for January 6th. I'm sure that they can't do that.
Obviously, if this came out, that means they've discussed doing the belt enough that they're, the belt's probably ready if they're doing it.
If they are.
I hope they're not.
I hope that they're not, because also another thing that's a problem with this, you can't realistically have it defended. Because what are you going to do? Just have all the matches between the Bloodline stuff? How crazy would it be to have, like, Roman Reigns defends the Tribal Chief Championship against, I don't know.
Well, The Rock here's what I'm thinking. The Rock is a People's Championship. God, that's just a mouthful. Is that why they're thinking of creating a physical belt for it so that The Rock and Roman can hold up their two titles? And that way they're fighting for titles and you can still get the photo ops, but you're not actually using the titles?
Man, I hope not. But how crazy would it be if it's like, all right, Roman beats Solo. He is officially the tribal chief again. But now he's got a tribal chief championship. And like, hey, Tiffany Stratton just cashed in. And she's now the leader of the Adewale family.
I'd have questions about that.
Because also, you can't even sell the belt without it being a potential problem. Because do you really want to open yourself up to the criticism of the cultural appropriation where people are upset that, like, hey, your Caucasian 6-year-old wants to dress up as Moana, and that's a problem. yet we're going to sell a championship that says you're the head of the Samoan dynasty, and anybody can just buy that championship, and, you know, Mark Jabroni from fucking Idaho is going to be holding it up and being like, yeah, fuck you, I'm the tribal chief now. Because they don't sell the Olafala.
No, because it's an actual cultural...
Right. But if they're doing this for the reason of trying to merchandise it out for WWE, then that opens up that problem.
I think that's fair. Oh, motherfucker. Not that we didn't know this, but remember that thing that you looked at before we started, Tony, that said where to watch WWE Premium Live Events, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and more?
Yep.
You didn't click on that, did you?
Why? What are they doing?
SmackDown is officially 3 hours, baby! Why? Look, I don't care. I'm gonna bitch about it. Why? Everyone's universal takeaway was, fuck, Raw is so much better being a 2-hour show. I feel happier at the end of the show. I feel like I watched a better show. And now it's 3 hours.
Not at all surprised, but that just means I have to phone it in a little bit more to balance it out.
Oh, fuck. Can it at least start at 7? Are we really doing 8 to 11 SmackDown?
On a Friday night.
People have lives. Look. I mean,
let's be honest. People aren't going to have lives anymore.
I mean,
you really think people are going to be able to do things and have fun and enjoy life when everything switches over in January?
And I'm sure the only switchover you need is Raw switching over to SmackDown switching over to 3 hours.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
I'll claim ignorance on that, so this plasmoid in the fucking sky doesn't shoot me down or whatever the fuck is happening in this. I'm gonna take one of your quotes. What are we doing here?
That's what I've been saying, man. What are we doing here? Oh, God.
How did I pay for therapy in 2024 for the first time ever, and I'm leaving 2024 feeling worse?
How did I pay for therapy for the first time ever in 2024, and I'm leaving feeling worse?
At the very least, everybody, if you do hit up the Patreon and stuff, be aware that that's not where it's going to go. I'm not going to waste the money. It's going to go into things like website infrastructure. But yeah, Tribal Chief Championship, not a good idea.
SmackDown being 3 hours, not a good idea.
No. And having that extra third hour does not mean you need another championship to be defended on there. Then we have the new Tribal Chief of, I don't know, Alex Shelley or something. I don't know why I singled him out of all people. Maybe because it's alphabetical. Let's get into TV talk as far as that's concerned. For some of the stuff that happened, some of the stuff that's going to happen. So we know at this point quite a bit of what is being taped for Advance. We know a lot of things for like WWE more than AEW, although AEW still has some stuff kind of in the pipeline too. Like Rampage, like who really cares? Continental Classic stuff, you can check that out. I've posted stuff about the updated rankings for that, but let's get into, I guess, like the nitty gritty of what these things are. So I'm going to load up my list of things here that I had written up because I forgot to bring that up beforehand. So let's go to Anthony Mango over there. Look at that. That's me. I like me sometimes. And the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw, go back to that one. December 16th, we got new tag team champions with the War Raiders beating the Judgment Day. Kind of saw that one coming. That's good.
When you listen to Finn, you lose.
When you listen to Balor, what rhymes with Balor? Shit, I should have thought of that.
I got it.
You're a failure.
That's good. It doesn't rhyme, but you really
It's a poetic license. It rhymes enough.
you forced it there. When you pin Finn, you win.
Yeah, there you go. There's more stuff that really doesn't matter on the grand scheme of Raw. Like R-Truth keeps calling Pete Dunne Butch, whatever. Kairi Sane got attacked by the Pure Frisian Collective, potentially, although people are putting out conspiracy theories thinking that it's Dakota Kai. She's going to be replaced by Io Sky. Spoiler alert, Io Sky beats Natalya. So there goes that idea of Natalya winning that Intercontinental Championship, which some people are upset about.
Io Sky is going to be the first women's Intercontinental Champion.
Probably. Which really at this point goes to show, man, Triple H is a big fan of Io Sky. And he should be, but at the same time...
I guess we should have seen that coming, considering when he was still in charge of NXT, she was champion for 300 days.
It is kind of weird, though, that it's she's fighting for the Women's World Championship, and she's not even in the tournament, but then let's do an angle where we get rid of Kairi and put her in there. You couldn't have given it to Kairi, Kairi's good.
Yeah, I don't know why
Io doesn't have to win everything.
I don't know why they don't give it to Kairi.
The other one that went through on that, Zoe Stark beat Kaden Carter and Raquel Rodriguez. I was a little bit surprised about that because I thought Raquel would.
Yeah, I was surprised about that as well. But maybe Zoe Stark could win something.
Maybe. I don't think she will. Then we had some more stuff with The Miz, Final Testament, all that. Braun Breaker retained the IC title over Ludwig Kaiser. New Day got kicked out of the locker room by Rey Mysterio.
Final Testament. I just want to say that.
Final testicles?
No. Dexter Lumis wrestling his first match in over 500 days. Next Monday on Raw. First singles match.
Huh. Good for him.
That's a wild stat.
I believe wins that match. Let me double check. Yes, he does. He beats The Miz by disqualification. Chad Gable is also going to beat Akira Tozawa. Damian Priest is going to beat Damian Mysterio, as I'm going to call him, Dominic Mysterio. The note from the spoilers that I had seen was that JD McDonough is going to be dressed up as Santa Claus, which I think is kind of interesting.
Wow, Santa pulling double duty. He's working Raw and NXT.
Yeah. And Drew McIntyre beats Sami Zayn. They have a segment with the New Day bad-mouthing Wade Barrett, of all people. So, okay.
Wow.
And Kofi Kingston's mom apparently disowns him.
That's funny.
Yeah, that should be a good segment.
Imagine your mother liking your friends so much that if you stop being friends with them, she disowns you.
Yeah. And there's plenty of people that, you could be like, oh, the friend is better off, On the NXT side of things, this episode that aired already, we got 3 episodes to talk about with NXT, and we're going to actually kind of barrel along with it too. Obafemi beat Axiom, but Axiom and Nathan Fraser were still able to beat Gallus, which I was very happy about because I'd rather for Axiom be champions than Gallus win those.
Indeed.
Okay, Funaki. Eddie Thorpe had that title match against Trick Williams, which ended with Trick and Eddie Thorpe having their shoulders down. And then
Shawn Michaels, baby.
Yep, that is going to turn into an angle where at NXT New Year's Evil, we're going to get a triple threat because Eddie Thorpe is now going to be thrown into that match with Obafemi and Trick Williams, which completely signifies to me that, yes, again, we are going to get you can't win the title on the first chance because this is definitely Trick Williams is going to beat Eddie Thorpe and Obafemi is going to be like, you didn't beat me. You beat Eddie Thorpe. I want another match. And that'll happen at either Vengeance Day or Roadblock or Spring Break-In or whatever they end up throwing in there. Or it'll happen at Stand and Deliver. Whatever. They haven't announced any of these things yet, so we don't know. But it is now at a point where it's almost a 100% track record. Triple H and Shawn Michaels love when people fail the first title match, get another one and win it again. War Raiders just did that, for another example. Isn't that crazy?
I just think it's a nice little trope, but you got to stop doing it all the time. That way people don't see it coming.
And it's like, if you look at the list of the times that it didn't happen this year, that's only because they then did another rematch and repeated the same thing again, like Damian Priest and Gunther. It's wild how they are doing that. Dana Parker beats Ren Sinclair. Metaphor beats Sol Ruca and Zarya. I guess they're going to try to do some kind of a story between those two, because there's a thing about this next week where Izzy Dame tries to tell Zarya that she shouldn't be friends with Sol Ruca. Sure. They had this whole thing with Lexis King doing the workout with Charlie Dempsey, and spoiler alert, Lexis King beats Charlie Dempsey for the Heritage Cup next week, and he beats him in a really weird way. Did you read what happens with that?
Yeah, but he really doesn't beat him because William Regal hits Lexis King with the brass knuckles, but because Lexis had already gotten a win and he got the DQ, he wins by DQ or something like that.
I think it's the breakdown that I had seen was he gives the brass knuckles to Lexis King, who decides that he doesn't want to use them again. Regal hits him. The brass knuckles go flying. Charlie Dempsey is like, what the fuck is this? And picks him up. And then the referee goes, oh, wait, he's knocked out and you're holding brass knuckles, so you must have done that, so you get disqualified.
Yep. So William Regal beat Charlie Dempsey. Hooray for Lexis King.
Yeah. Which I then had to change one of my things because I had written up a thing of people that need to win a title in 2025, and I had Lexis King on that list, and I was like, never mind. He does it at the very, very end of 2024, so okay. We have more miscommunication between Carmen Petrovic and Ashanti Adonis after she hugs Dion Lennox, and Lennox is like, just trying to say, hey, you should forgive Adonis. And then after Adonis sees that, he's like, you know what? I'm going to go fuck Nikita Lyons then. And Lennox is like, I'm going to go back to read my books.
I hope that the swerve here is that Dion Lennox is actually just trying to nice guy his way into everybody's pants.
The big swerve is that he and Ashanti are going to be the couple at the end of this.
That would be quite the swerve.
They're going to be a new tag team, and they're going to be like, you know what? Bros before us.
That, honestly, I could see that being a more likely scenario than, Shantae and Carmen Petrovic just work it out.
Honestly, it's not the best.
Look, Adonisly is the greatest catchphrase in the history of NXT.
It's kind of the best thing that Adonis has done in WWE, I would think.
By far.
There is a lot of disharmony and turmoil in Flatulence because backstage Fatal Influence had a backstage thing with the Unholy Union, which turns into a bunch of confusing things over these next few weeks, because they do have a match with them on next week's show, and they beat them with a little bit of help from Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley, and Shotzi. Yet on the 31st episode, doesn't seem like they're involved at all, and instead, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter get into the mix.
Yeah. Why not?
I'm also confused about how this is going to play out. So there is a thing with Stephanie Vaquer and Cora Jade for next week, and spoiler alert again, Stephanie wins, and then after the match, Kalani Jordan goes after Cora Jade with a kendo stick, which then somehow turns into, on the next week, on New Year's Eve, Kalani Jordan beats Lola Vice, and then Cora Jade tries to attack Lola Vice with a kendo stick until Stephanie Vaquer stops.
Okay, as you said that out loud, I think Corey might have just gotten the spoiler mixed up.
I think so. So,
okay.
I mean,
as you said that out loud,
it seems like Cora Jade would go after Kalani with the kendo stick, and Stephanie Vaquer would make the save.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
But maybe that is how it works. Maybe there's a backstage segment that explains this.
Because I was
whatever.
thinking, okay, Cora can go after Lola. Like, I didn't realize that Kalani had gone after Cora.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
this is the nature of the spoilers business. You never really know exactly what's 100% sure until you watch it. And then when you watch it, sometimes the context completely changes. Sometimes there's like some kind of a quick thing, like a nod to something else that you didn't catch or whatever. But there's also a Christmas Chaos Fatal 4-Way #1 Contenders Tag Team match where OTM gets the next title shot. They beat the Angelo family, Hank and Tank, and No Quarter Catch Crew. Okay. And then we've got this.
they would love Hank and Tank.
This whole thing with Ethan Page losing a smile, then he takes out Javon Evans with a chair, is going to eventually lead to Ethan Page beating Cedric Alexander. Makes sense.
That's good. Yeah.
Izzy Dame apparently beat Sol Ruka. Makes sense after the whole, like, she badmouths her thing. And it seems like we're getting a heel turn for Tyreek Igwe and Tyson DuPont. Well, they are going to join up with Wes Lee after he was telling, at least, was it? Actually, which one was it? Tyreek was the one.
Tyreek. Yeah.
Tyreek was the one that was like, man, I'm like sick and tired of sucking. And Tyson DuPont's like, yeah, I know, but we don't have to be dicks about it. And Wesley's like, actually, you kind of do. And apparently they're going to win a 6-man tag team match in 2 weeks against Hank Walker, Tank Ledger, and potentially Santa Claus still. I don't know. Andre Chase. So he is sticking around.
You think Santa Claus is gonna? I mean, you think Andre Chase is still gonna be Santa Claus?
I mean, I would hope that he wouldn't, or that he would. Either one sounds kind of fun.
Where's Thea Hale?
Maybe she's in the Santa's sack. I don't
know. Well, they were the ones who had to leave, and Andre Chase didn't have to leave anyway. He just had to leave Chase U. Weird.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody had to leave. Nobody. Yeah. Why has no one been on TV?
Somebody who hasn't been on TV yet, but they alluded to it that I forgot to mention. That mysterious 0 with the slash thing on Raw. It seems like that's going to be Penta.
Really? You think that?
0, Miedo?
I mean, it's obviously Penta.
Maybe he's just going to just be 0. Or something.
I would hate that. I'm so glad they stopped that.
But we don't know confirmation about that yet. Maybe it's something else. There was also some other little taping things that really, doesn't really matter. Nobody's going to really care too much. But the AEW side of things, though, we got Holiday Bash went through. Mercedes Moné retained her TBS title. Shibata and Hook lost to the Patriarchy. Got more Continental Classic stuff. Some good matches there. At this point, the CC is like playing out in a way that I did not anticipate, to be honest. In some ways, in a good way, because I really didn't expect that everybody except for one person in one of the brackets would be tied. Darby Allin, Claudio Castagnoli, Ricochet, Brody King, and Will Ospreay all have 6 points. Meanwhile, Commander has none. Poor Commander.
We blame Juice for that.
And then you got Kyle Fletcher still in the lead. He's got 9 points. Okada's got 7. Shelton Benjamin and Mark Briscoe are at 6. Daniel Garcia's at 4. So it's still kind of anybody's game to get into the mix here, especially because they're switching it up at World's End, and they're going to do the thing with the runner-up fighting the winner on the opposite end and all. I am still kind of leaning towards it being Ospreay and Ricochet on one side in the Gold League and Fletcher and Okada on the other one, but now that they haven't reached that point yet, I'm like, maybe it could be Darby Allin, maybe it could be Garcia, maybe they could, surprise me.
Well, you don't think... I've thought from the beginning that this is going to be Darby, Ospreay, Okada, Fletcher. That way you get Darby, Okada, Fletcher, Ospreay, and then Ospreay, Okada.
I had thought Ricochet But the way that they approached him this week,
yeah, so they're going full blown Ricochet's an arrogant dork. Like I gotta use the word dork because that's the way they're presenting it. They're going full blown, you're a dork.
it's bad. So if anybody didn't see it, Ricochet, who had previously turned down the idea about joining the Hurt Syndicate, is now like super happy with the idea that he has that business card, and he thinks that that's entitling him to be cocky and do this haha kind of like Mickey Mouse shit. I don't get how that's supposed to get over, but okay. And he was made to look like a complete jackass, sucking up to the Hurt Syndicate, who rescinded the card, and he's like, oh, that's cool, we'll talk later and all. It's showing more personality than he has in a while, but it's not good.
It's so funny. I'm sorry, dude. It's so funny. And I think it'll work out for him in the end, but it's just so funny. Like, they're going full blown, like, all right, you're just a kiss ass dork and get out of here, you fucking loser. And he swerves like, yeah, that's why he's still bald. Why are you picking on this guy for being bald? Have you seen him with hair? He looks way better bald.
Everybody down and watch for the Ricochet. That's all I can say about that. That's the TV stuff, but we have two other things that I think are kind of fun to round this out.
I wonder if they're the same. I have three things. So I'll go with the one that you probably don't have. And we can get this over with quickly because only you and I care. So Corey Brennan of Fightful Select has reported that NXT Level Up is coming to an end.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't bother mentioning that. NXT Level Up is canceled, it seems.
And I don't know why. Why? Who is it hurting?
I guess it's one of those things where Peacock had a certain, maybe they paid for it or whatever.
Put it on YouTube. These people need to wrestle.
Yeah, but you know how WWE is. They're going to, and well, any business at this point, especially at this point, they're going to be like, if it costs $1 to do and we don't get anything for it, we're not doing it, even if it would be a worthwhile expenditure.
It is a net benefit, but I guess that's probably why they're leaning into all this ID stuff so that they can start sending these people out because they're not going to be able to wrestle anymore.
Kind of seems like it. They must not have, and look, we know the perception at least. We know that the perception is nobody watches Level Up. Nobody watches Main Event. The second that Hulu stops paying for Main Event, that's ending for sure. It must not net them any actual positives to the point that they must be like, well, maybe if we do send you away, we can promote something, we can get a little bit of goodwill, you can still get your reps in, and that's good enough. Or maybe they are kind of looking at this a little bit as like, hey, we're going to move people up from NXT, and we're going to need to put these like Tyra May Steels and Drake Moreau's and all these people are going to be a part of NXT. And we don't need Level Up anymore because NXT is going to diminish in quality.
That's terrible. Why would you say that to me? That's the worst thing I could think of.
It's a possibility. Something to keep an eye on. NXT Level Up, though, is a show that I was doing more coverage for than almost anybody on the fucking internet. So, RIP that work that I have to do anymore.
Did I tell you what's one of the final things they're taping for it?
No, I didn't see any reports about that yet.
Adante Chen.
Adante Chen?
Adante Chen.
What's Adante Chen?
Adante Chen Open Challenge Gauntlet.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
See, I thought you were combining Adonis and Dante right then.
No.
Adante Chen. What's its name?
So I think that's fun. I'm not a fan of it. I've told you, I can't remember if I said it on the awards. If I did, I apologize for repeating myself. I don't like that we saw a thing about the biggest losers of the year and that they all had under 70 matches. How are people going to get better? if the pros are only working less than 70 matches, how are we supposed to expect Jakara Jackson and Nova Femi to be good? You know? They're coming up to the main roster with very little under their belt.
And not a belt.
And not a belt.
Maybe they could win that speed championship. Yeah.
Maybe after they get rid of Level Up.
And it's just like, hey, you got to really learn really fast how to be a wrestler. And by fast, we mean you have to learn how to be a wrestler in 3 minutes.
Well, of course, I think the real reason is that they're going to use the time allocated to Level Up matches for these LFG matches. But, like, is that a positive in the grand scheme of things?
Hey, maybe NXT is going to get a third hour.
Why you're banned from talking? Okay, so the other hot tags I had, because Tony's banned from talking, I want to talk about Kenny Omega returning, because there was the promo on... Look, we know he'll be back in action by 2 weeks from now anyway, but there was the promo on Dynamite saying that Kenny Omega was coming soon, and Sean Ross Sapp reported soon could be as simple as World's End. And I want to know, what do you think Kenny Omega might do at World's End?
Nothing off the top of my head really sticks out. Maybe he just has like a stare down segment with Okada or something.
That's right. It is the Continental Classic. Maybe Okada wins and he has a stare down. I was thinking he could be the person to stare down Mox at the end of the show.
Oh yeah, that could be another one too.
Maybe Hangman wins. Maybe he stares down Hangman.
Hangman ain't winning.
We clearly have nothing for him other than staring at somebody. So it could be good.
Maybe he stares at somebody and he hits like the one-winged angel or something. But I do have 2 other hot tags to talk about that are fun little things we don't normally talk about, but they are pro wrestling tangent. So one of them is a movie trailer came out for a pro wrestling themed film that's coming up, Queen of the Ring. We talked about this a little bit before when they talked about casting and some other little bits and pieces over the course of the past year or so, but this is the story of Mildred Burke. It is starring actually some pretty decently sized names that, maybe off the top of your head you might not recognize, but Emily Bett Rickards is playing Mildred Burke, and for people who the fuck is that, she was Felicity Smoke on Arrow. So
that's a great old-timey name.
Emily Bett Rickards.
I like that.
Sounds old school. Arrow has a lot of pro wrestling connections. If you think about Batista, I think was on one. I think Kane was on one. Ashley Massaro. Oh no, they were on Smallville. But Cody Rhodes was on Arrow. And we know that Stephen Amell, of course, did his pro wrestling stuff all across the board on a couple different promotions and stuff. But there's also, I know I've heard her name before. I don't know how to pronounce it. Marie Avgeropoulos. She's been in some stuff. Kelly Berglund, who was in Heels, is in this, playing Nell Stewart. Martin Kove from Cobra Kai and Karate Kid and all. Kreese. He is in this. Josh Lucas. Deborah Ann Woll, who is Karen Page in Daredevil. Walton Goggins, who's great in tons of different things. He's been in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was the what's the name of the not the demon or the something from Fallout. Fuck. He's the guy with the messed up face, whatever the fuck his name is. Can't remember his name.
I can't think of it.
Now it's bothering me. He's Cooper Howard in that. What's his name? That's character is gonna bother the shit out of me. Fallout characters, Walton Goggins. He is the Ghoul. That's what it was. I know it was something close to that. Cara Buono is in this. You should know her from a lot of different things. She's one of the moms in Stranger Things as well. And now we also have confirmation of some other people that we should know that are like in pro wrestling. We know Tony Storm is playing Clara Mortensen in this. We've got Camille as June Byers. Naomi is in this, apparently. Britt Baker. Jim Cornette.
I see Cornette in the trailer. So I'm watching the trailer. I watched it for the first time while you were talking, and I'm watching it again. I see Cornette. He pops up in about 4 seconds. He's either promoting or he's announcing.
I think Mickey James is supposed to be in this too.
That's something, because let me tell you, Cornette doesn't leave his house for much. But I imagine there's a pretty payday.
And I think Jim Ross is like one of the producers. So wow. I don't like this style old wrestling. I'm not a fan of watching those old matches. I honestly do not really think that I would love to see any of them if I were to watch them back, even if it was like the biggest classic of all time, because I don't like that style at all. But I will say that for a movie that has as generic of a premise as you could possibly get, with the whole like, we don't have women's wrestling and I'm going to prove that, and we're going to do, we've heard this story a million times. If you've seen, I don't know, Remember the Titans, like, you know, it's, there's only so many stories you can tell in anything, let alone in pro wrestling and in movies and stuff. But I'm going to check it out.
I think I spotted Naomi.
Yeah. She has like one line, I think, in the trailer.
The one who says we got to break walls down in this country?
Yeah, I think it's her.
Okay. Yeah, and Camille is the one you actually see wrestling, which is fun.
Wrestling more in this movie than she did in AEW this year.
Coming to theaters in March 2025. I'm looking forward to it. Also,
Clint Eastwood's daughter or granddaughter or something, I forget, is in this movie too. So they have, like, not that she's like a particularly big name, but like they've got some names in this, like, you know, Josh Lucas, Walton Goggins, and all.
Look, not to downplay anything, because I'm sure it was a serious thing, but as I look at these men with their picket signs saying "Broads out the ropes," I just have to think to myself, there's no way that was real. Like, it seems so cheeky and stupid. There's no way that guys are like, get these broads out the ropes and get them back in the kitchen.
See, I assume that it probably was true because of the way that things have gone in 2024.
I'll grant you that.
But yeah, it seems like it's, you know, I don't think it's going to be as good as Iron Claw was, but
babies, not backbreakers.
I look at this and go, look, I don't have any fondness for that era. I don't have any fondness for Mildred Burke. And it's a generic enough story. All that other kind of stuff aside, though, yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. It's fun. Make movies fun again.
Now, here is going to be a little bit of a stretch for the final topic, and I'm probably even going to make this my thumbnail because this is something that I'm, on the flip side, totally the opposite of being interested in when it comes to how I was talking about Ring of Honor. Let's talk about Superman.
Wow, we're really sandwiching it nicely, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the pro wrestling element of this is going to be how I justify it to be a part of this. James Gunn had talked about how one of the reasons why they decided to go with the red trunks for Superman's outfit is because in their kind of philosophy, Supes has this bright, colorful outfit because he wants kids to not be afraid of him. So he dresses like a professional wrestler, which I was like, you know what? First off, that's very Superman. To be like, I don't want people to be afraid of me. Let me try to do what I can to, you know, downplay that. Number two, I like that that's a justification for the attire to be going on in that direction instead of it being like, well, why wouldn't he just wear black or something, you know? I don't like the trunks, to be perfectly honest. I am very much not the traditionalist on that front. I think that there are elements that you can use where you can take the red trunk, like breaking up the color scheme, and you can do just red, like, elements of the gear and not have it be actual, like, you know, pair of boxers over in the thing. But man, this trailer was good.
Yeah, it seems like people are actually excited, and I'm reaching here, but I'm gonna hope that seeing Superman in theaters, if there's anything left of the monoculture, is gonna be like, yeah, do the right thing, and good things are good, and fuck yeah, it doesn't always have to be so bleak. Not that I don't love Batman. Y'all know Batman's my favorite anything. But, I mean, we got Superman here. We got Crypto. First time in a live action
What a good
movie.
boy.
He's such a good boy. Look at him. You can't look at him. I'm looking at him with the face right now. Because I'm excited. I'm happy. I wish it wasn't in July. I wish it was tomorrow. But we'll see.
Loving this trailer, loving the vibes. Corin Sweat seems like he's going to be a great Superman. I don't anticipate that there's going to be any actual pro wrestling elements in this, which is like,
we get one
look,
mention, we won.
Right. It's a possibility, and it's not the strangest thing in the world considering there are lots of crossovers between comics and pro wrestling. Look at Spider-Man. He's often supposed to be based off of pro wrestlers, and he does the whole thing with the Crusher Hogan and Bonesaw's ready. But it's the first time I've ever seen an equivalency between Superman's trunks and that. And then when I started to look at some of the other information, it turns out that's actually one of the biggest inspirations for that. Schuster and Siegel partially did the whole trunks thing because of the strongman type of style, and pro wrestler named Carl something or other. I fucking wrote it up, and of course I don't have that list right now. Superman wrestler Carol Krauser was his name. Did the rotoscoping for the Fleischer cartoons. So that's why you can justify how my thumbnail is going to say Superman is a pro wrestler.
I mean, if we're honest, the original Action Comics Superman, that's very Vern Gagne looking. If you ever seen Vern Gagne or Luthez with hair, they just look like that. So there's something to that, and wrestling is very, American, and so is Superman. I think it's not the craziest thing to think of.
I am way more excited about Superman.
Also, Superman wrestled Antonino Rocca in a comic book, so Superman is a wrestler.
I love me some crossover stuff as well, and I am very excited about this movie. I wish I could see it tomorrow, like you were saying.
It's so funny when you see shit like Antonino Rocca being drawn to wrestle Superman, and you hear people be like, "Oh, Vince was so... how could he sell out like that with the celebrities and obsession with the mainstream?" It's like, no, it was always there. Look at this proof that it's there. Look at this other proof where Superman is essentially wrestling. Superman has faced many wrestlers. I'm looking now that I see... now that I Googled this, he's gotten in the ring quite a lot. I enjoy it.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of the Hot Tags. Not
Very
the final one.
episode because Tony thought it was the final one.
Yeah. It feels like it should be, but we do have one more.
It could be. We don't have to do it next week.
Technically speaking, it is if we're still around, but still, I do have plans to do this combined with the AEW World's End discussion sometime on the 27th.
What do you mean? We're not doing one on Christmas?
No. Even though I'm not going to really be celebrating anything for Christmas, I am just not doing the thing that a lot of other people want to do, which is sacrifice everything and everybody else around you for money. No, screw that. People should be trying to have one last Christmas before the world blows up. And
the world's not blowing up.
It might. So if that is the case, I hope you enjoy your Christmas, everybody. I hope if you celebrate something else that you enjoy that. If you don't celebrate anything, I hope you at least have a good next week. We, of course, are rolling along our AEW and WWE End of the Year awards progressively over these next few days, so there's still a couple episodes left to air. Stay tuned and check those out. Make sure that you are following us on the website, on Discord, on Facebook, on Twitter, on every kind of element that you can see. Share your support as well. And make sure you're going on amangotree.com and double checking that you are attached to all those different things that are. See what I pop up on, like, Letterboxd or something. I don't know. I'm going to be watching in the next few days. But I'm at Tony Mango over most places. Follow me on there. Make sure you're following Rob, too.
Yeah, follow me at Dude Felice. I am Dude Felice everywhere. At Blue Sky, Twitter, just Blue Sky at this point. Honestly, I prefer Blue Sky. Twitter's a mess. I've stopped caring. And you should also check out Callum at Wigmaster14, but check out Tony's 5 biggest winners and losers from AEW in 2024. It's up on What Culture. I'm looking at it right now. It's a good article, and you should too.
There's that. There's the WWE side. Eventually, you're going to get the WWE people who need to win a title in 2025. I've got everything that I was planning on writing for What Culture written up except for one, but I can't do that yet because that one is predicting everything from the Royal Rumble, and we're not even in January yet, so I can't write that up yet. So, you will see stuff on Smark Out Moment here and there.
Aiden Burke just popped up. Where'd you?
Not Burke.
Yeah, your voice got all weird for 5 seconds.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Well,
like,
everybody, you will see different things popping up on smarkoutmoment.com. I might have myself a ballpark Frank sometime soon. I don't really know, but that's going to do us in for this episode. Thank you for listening, everybody. We will see you next time. Adios for now, though. This has been another Smark Out Moment, and we are being counted out.